times for heroes or villains.
Just over 3 minutes of the added time remaining.
It has to be now for them.
Into the final minute, is there to be a final flourish?
The all-important man is the fourth official. 7 minutes to be added on. 7 minutes. My word. 30 seconds that will feel like 30 hours.
Almost out of time.
The full-time whistle.
I'm Ewan Lowney. I love Scotland and I love Scottish football. I've been a football fan my whole life, growing up in the northeast of Scotland, supporting Aberdeen and Montrose. Football plays a huge part in so many people's lives, especially in Scotland, where the attendance at matches is the highest per capita in Europe. It's also given me an income because I work in media surrounding Scottish football. But I'm worried. The impact of climate change on the planet is frightening and changes must be made everywhere in society. The arrival of COP26 in Glasgow has made everyone more aware of the state of the climate emergency. Does football affect the climate in a major way? And what do the public know about it?
Since I started playing football as a hobby, I realized how many products I would buy. So football clothing, shoes, and I think if you look at the production of these products, I start to think about how, where they're made, how they've traveled around the world, probably having a lot of carbon footprint when I buy the product, so I've started to become more aware of the products that I buy.
Well, I can imagine, but I'm not too sure. I think when they do tournaments and matches, they travel a lot with planes, buses, and everything. And also, there's a big tournament, all the cups and the food, everything is used and the pitch. We could recycle or use maybe things from home, or bring cups and things like that instead of buying them there.
Definitely, it's been on the news so much, especially with the COP26 being on every day. I think it's now something that people cannot ignore. It's not a side news or a niche area. It's mainstream.
People know about sustainability and their impact on the environment, but not a lot of people know about the impact of Scottish football, so here are some facts. The Scottish Football Association recently published a report investigating the issue of sustainability in the sport. The document details how, even though on the face of it, the football sector does not seem to be too damaging to the environment, it has a larger ecological footprint than you might think. Clubs can use tens of thousands of kilowatts of energy per game to power the stadium and floodlights, and with thousands of people in the stadiums, the waste produced by Scottish clubs is astronomical. But the biggest factor is transport for the fans and the players. Players travel the length of the country by coach every weekend, and fans drive to games in their droves, meaning immense carbon emissions are created all over Scotland at 3 o'clock every Saturday. Football clubs don't cease to operate the rest of the week either. Clubs need to use power and water to maintain their pitches and stadiums, use training facilities, wash kits and more. Conversely, climate change can and will affect Scottish football greatly. Changing weather caused by rising global temperatures might cause football to become unplayable, whether due to extreme events like floods and storms, or due to heat exhaustion of players. Rising sea levels will also affect many stadia that are on the coast, such as Gayfield and Arbroath. What will happen when the sea rises above it? There is a major problem in Scottish football regarding climate change. Was anyone doing anything about it? Well, there's one club that has the environment at the heart of everything they do, and they're right here in Edinburgh.
I'm Greg McEwen, I'm the Commercial Director here at Hibernian Football Club. It was something that we discussed about 18 months ago, about being the greenest club in Scotland, and it was an aspiration that we had. We then went and done a little bit of an evaluation to find out where we stood in Scottish football, and very quickly found that we were already, unbeknown to us, the greenest club in the country. Simply down to the fact that we use 100% renewable energy, and our environmental waste controls were the leading in the country, third in the UK behind Forest Green and Manchester United. So on top of the renewable energy and the environmental the waste management controls, we have recently signed up solar panels to be installed here at Easter Road and at our training centre down in East Lothian. We took over our kiosks from a third party, and our kiosks now have 100% compostable packaging. We've removed single-use plastics from our kiosks, which actually affects our bottom line, so we're losing a 5-figure sum of revenue by removing the bottles of water and replacing them with water dispensers. We've installed electric charging points here at the here at Easter Road and at the training centre. We've got a few members of staff that are now driving electric vehicles, and we've got a number of staff who are in a process of switching over as well. We're also looking at how to harvest rainwater. That's one of the biggest usages at the stadium, is the water on the pitch or the facilities around about the venue. So that'll be the next big item that we're looking at. The first question we ask is, how can that help us in our role as the greenest club in Scotland? So whether it's the groundsman and his lawnmowers, can we get them electric ones? It's like, what do the players use that we can change? So the first thing was water bottles, so the players have all got their individual water bottles, that they don't have single-use plastics. Another one was shin guards. So it maybe sounds a bit quirky, but it's an opportunity. Again, we like to be innovative here at Hibernian, and the players have taken to it. We've got a number of players that are really into the environment as well. Some of them have played at Forest Green Rovers, who are the world's leading in the sector. So yeah, it was something that everybody wanted to get involved in. But there's certainly a lot more growth to be done, and if we can just help do our bit and try and get other clubs in Scotland to follow suit and achieve similar levels or beyond, then great. We'd be more than happy with that, because it means that we're all fighting the good fight and doing our bit. A lot of them have come to us and asked what we do and how we do it, and we're more than happy to share information. It's not a closed shop, as I say, everybody's in it to help each other. And I know that there are a number of other clubs that are looking at their waste management, they're looking at their energy supplies, they're looking at their kiosks. I know that Celtic do a good bit as well. So yeah, there's a big movement in Scottish football.
It's great that Hibs are making a name for themselves in terms of being a green club and taking steps to becoming carbon neutral. They're not the only club making inroads with their initiatives though. The SFA's report details some solutions to help clubs' environmental footprint and includes some examples from teams around Scotland. Hamilton Accies spent around 300 grand on replacing their entire heating system with biomass boilers, saving 500 tonnes of CO2 annually, and saving money by making the system more efficient. Ayr United also created a kit drying room, saving around 8.5 tonnes of CO2 every year, as opposed to powering individual tumble dryers. Queen of the South recently saved energy by installing LED bulbs in their floodlights. So this is what's happening right now, but it's not enough. What needs to happen in the future to make Scottish football more sustainable? The report contains many ways for Scottish football clubs to be more sustainable, but it's unrealistic for all of these solutions to be implemented everywhere at once. However, clubs do need to consider some of the ways they can be more sustainable, such as harnessing solar and wind energy over fossil fuels, having more vegan options in their catering sites, and trying to recycle more of the waste that gets left behind. But there's only so much that clubs can do. Supporters need to do their bit too. It comes down to getting people to be more aware of their actions that impact the environment, and teams like Motherwell, Greenock Morton and Ross County have projects that are directly aimed to educate the public about climate change. Fans need to consider taking public transport, cycling and walking to games, and try to use waste recycling points that some grounds have. Football clubs have the power to make changes by being better role models to their supporters. The SFA have also signed up to the UN Climate Action Pledge to become carbon neutral by 2040 as a result of COP26, making environmental sustainability a high-ranking issue for the sport's governing body. Fans will need to change their matchday behaviour as well as clubs. If everyone learns about the impact of their actions, we can make a difference to the changing environment and maybe score a last-minute winner.